Nation Ministry on Lebanese television a couple of nights ago, talking about we outlaw a whole bunch of other things, and nobody, you Muslims, did not object to it. Like, for instance, nudity. He said you cannot walk in the street.
Yeah.
You cannot walk in the street with your face covered,
Yeah.
but you cannot walk in the street nude.
Yeah.
Why are you not objecting to this one rule rather than one rule?
Yeah.
Okay, let me, for the sake of time also, let me just tell you what I'm thinking. We Muslims have to decide where we stand from the hijab, because let's face it, there is
among ourselves.
Yes, there is quite a bit of controversy within the Muslim community what constitutes proper Muslim woman dress. And I might add from my side as a woman, what constitutes a Muslim man's dress. I have sent a young man
but the debate only was about women, not about men.
And why is that?
I have no idea.
No, you don't have an idea, because the issue is who's in control. Okay, and
it's not any different than the Muslim war. The man's in control.
If you're speaking rationally, okay, if you're speaking logically, that's the case. Okay, but there are a lot of practices that really do not apply within our community, and because we are a minority community, we tend naturally to be very protective of our secrets. We don't want to let a lot of things, faster. Do you know, for instance, that there are people, Muslims in the United States, who have more than one wife? Yes, you do know that. And you probably know some people. Okay, all right?
Not going to mention names.
We're not going to mention names, but you and I know what I'm talking about.
It's like girlfriends.
No, they are not girlfriends. They are, and I'm not objecting
to
polygamy.
Not legal, but
they are illegal. We as Muslims are required to follow the law of the land. So I'll go back to hijab and everything else. If you live in a country where the laws are disagreeable to you, then go somewhere else, or try to change it, or try that. That's what the Prophet ﷺ has given us. He said, when you are in a place and you don't like what's going on, you have one of two options. Either to choose a civilized way of changing it, such as through the voting process, the election process. We're trying to change the governor now for a multitude of reasons, okay? Or you leave. You leave, but you don't incite violence. You don't, any of those kinds of things. And that's not only as far as I don't like how America is treating muhajjaba women. I'm talking about a whole bunch of things. You and I, or several of us, are objecting to how much of our tax money is going to support Israel. The Senate just yesterday gave them $205 billion for what? For what?
That is hostile to me.
For a new anti-rocket system.
An iron dome.
All right. So what do we do about it? Okay, we do about it exactly the same thing. So there are two levels here of discussion. There is what are we going to do within our community in order for our young women and our children, our daughters and granddaughters, to understand where this rule is coming from and what is the purpose of this rule and how they can adopt it in their lives without, okay? And the second one has to do with if you don't want, if you do not like this rule, then there are ways of going about changing it. The woman who is running against Keith Ellison, have you seen her website? I can't remember her last name now, Brookstead or some such thing. It is so Islamophobic, it's unbelievable. It's an incitement to violence. And this is why several of us are working on defeating her.
But this idea of Islam is, it's a violent religion, and Muslims are dangerous. It used to be an extreme views, but now it's almost a mainstream views. And it's always talked about it without, Muslims are the only group of people now you can really demonize them on a network and mainstream media without really any repercussions or consequence.
Okay.
So a young woman that you ask and you demand of her should she decide, and they're under a lot of pressure, you know, they're under cultural pressure, peer pressure, and so how do our teens live with all this? I mean, and Islam give us a room. I mean, they say you have to be modest. Man, modesty could be not just in how you dress, but how you behave.
It's a range, yes, and how you behave also. As I mentioned to you a number of years ago, it was during Ramadan, and there was a young man in the mosque in Columbia Heights praying, and after the prayer, it was Salat al-Taraweeh. I stood up and I asked the imam to come with me to talk to him about going home and changing his clothes, because he was totally immodest. He had a very tight, very like, I don't know, sweatsuit or some such thing. And I told him, and obviously those are the kinds of things I can do now when I'm 66 that I could not do when I was in my 30s
People
and 40s.
People will tolerate you.
Oh, they will tolerate me now. She's an old woman, so I can do that. I can do that, and I can do that as a physician also. Young man, you're like my son or my grandson.
It's not healthy to do this.
Do you know that? And do you know that women have eyes and they do look? Do you want to look modest or don't you want to look modest? This is one of the things that young Muslim women complain about.
Yeah,
complain about.
It's
and no one is paying any attention to that, because all of the focus on women are the objects of attraction. No, men are objects of attraction too.
I don't know about that. You guys know about this.
Well, it's...
Yeah, of course. But, they say psychologically, men aroused by visual, women aroused
by auditory, yes.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
That does not mean... But it's not exclusive.
No, it's not. But
it's not exclusive.
But what I'm saying is the way Muslim woman is treated in a Muslim country, in a Muslim community. Is it any different the way the Western woman is being treated? I mean, Muslim woman has been, you can use Islam and all that to abuse Western, like in Saudi Arabia and all that. You can drive, you have to cover, you have to do that. And in a Western culture, I know they cannot, directly tell them, but the culture demands them to have a different look, different size. Size 3 is more oppressive than the burqa.
Oh, most definitely.
So when Mrs. USA, the first Muslim American to win beauty. If you look at what's demand of her from the beauty Talibans, the people tell her you have to say this in a script. Her life has been scripted for at least 1 year. So what I'm saying is the beauty crown is as oppressive as a burqa, for instance.
Yes, but just because it is does not mean that the burqa is not oppressive.
No.
You see what I mean?
What I'm
now,
saying, no.
Like
if you want to talk about women oppression, you can talk about women all over the globe, not just the Muslim women.
Right. Most definitely.
That's what the
women
argument...
are oppressed, and I mean, the feminist movement in the United
beauty
States,
mystique.
with the feminine mystique by Betty Friedan in the 50s, had nothing to do with us Muslim women. And Gloria Steinem, her issue had nothing to do with us.
Off about
Millet,
half a billion
girls.
people.
Right. And so oppression is oppression. But we can't, when we start mixing all of those forms of oppression, then we dilute the problem.
Yeah, we don't compare oppression.
Our job as Muslims is to take care of our Muslim girls.
I like that. Let me end this with, because I put a 1 minute video about the people who wear the hijab and burqa clothes, but I injected some Western. So I want to soften the American view of Muslim dress. So I made the 1 minute deal. I want to end the show, and I appreciate you coming here. And that's, I think, will take more than that. We'll have you again.
Thank you very much.
And this is a video about how we soften the burqas for the American viewers. And we'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless you all.